Hello to all the wonderful English learners tuning in from every corner of the globe, and welcome back to English in Fluency. I am your host, Alex, and I am genuinely thrilled to be with you today for what is going to be a very special, very deep dive into learning. Today, we are not just practicing listening. We are going to completely transform the way you view your daily life. I want to start by asking you a simple question. Where is the best place to learn English? Is it in a university library surrounded by dusty books? Is it in an expensive language school with a private tutor? Is it in a textbook filled with heavy grammar rules? While those places certainly have value, I believe the absolute best classroom in the world is the one you are standing in right now. It is your life. It is your kitchen, your office, your commute, and your grocery store. Every single object you touch and every single sound you hear is a potential English lesson waiting for you to discover it. Today, we are going to prove this. We are going to take a long, detailed journey with a character, and through his eyes, we will unlock the hidden vocabulary of everyday existence. If you are new here, or even if you have been with us for a long time, I have a small but important request. To help us keep creating these long, immersive sessions, please subscribe to the channel right now. It supports us more than you know, and helps our community grow. And I want you to engage with me directly. In the comments section, I want you to write down just one object you see in front of you right now, in English. Just one word. It could be phone, table, window, or coffee. This small action is your first step in making your life your classroom. Now, please get comfortable. Maybe you are walking, maybe you are driving, or maybe you are relaxing at home with a cup of hot tea. Whatever you are doing, let your shoulders drop. Take a deep breath in through your nose and let it out slowly through your mouth. Let's begin our story. We are going to follow a young man named Lucas. Lucas is 30 years old, and he has recently moved to a busy, vibrant English-speaking city to pursue a career in graphic design. Like many of you, Lucas is comfortable with reading English, but he sometimes struggles with the speed of daily conversation and the specific names of common objects. He often feels that his mind goes blank when he needs to speak. Today, we will walk through his entire week, from a busy workday to a relaxing weekend, analyzing every moment to see how he turns his routine into a powerful learning experience. The story begins in the quiet, early hours of a Tuesday morning. The city outside is still sleeping, covered in a soft gray light. In his bedroom, Lucas is buried under a thick white duvet. A duvet is that soft, thick blanket filled with feathers or synthetic material that keeps you warm. Some people call it a comforter or a quilt, but duvet is a very common word in the UK and parts of Europe. The room is silent, except for the rhythmic sound of a clock ticking on the wall. Tick, tock, tick, tock. Suddenly, the silence is shattered. His phone alarm begins to ring. It is a cheerful, chiming melody, but to Lucas, it feels too loud this early. He groans softly. To groan is to make a low sound that shows you are tired or unhappy. He reaches out a hand from under the duvet, fumbling for his phone on the nightstand. Fumbling means searching for something blindly with your hands. He finds the cold glass screen of the phone and swipes his thumb across it to dismiss the alarm. Silence returns. Lucas lies on his back for a moment, staring up at the ceiling. He sees a small spider web in the corner. Instead of ignoring it, he thinks, "Spider web." He traces the cracks in the paint with his eyes. He thinks, ceiling. He takes a deep breath and decides to start the day. He throws the covers off his body and swings his legs over the side of the bed. His feet touch the floor. The floorboards are wooden and cool against his skin. He wiggles his toes. This morning sensation is universal. He stands up and stretches. He reaches his arms up toward the ceiling, arching his back. He feels his spine crack gently. That satisfying pop is his body waking up. He walks to the window and pulls up the blinds. Blinds are the window coverings made of slats that you can pull up or down. Sunlight floods into the room. It is going to be a bright day. He looks out at the street below and narrates what he sees in his mind. I see a red car parked by the curb. I see a neighbor taking out the trash. I see a pigeon sitting on a lamppost. This is the first lesson of the day. Narrating your observations. Lucas leaves his bedroom and walks down the short hallway to the bathroom. He pushes the door open. The bathroom creates a different atmosphere. It is tiled and echoes slightly. He steps onto the bath mat, which is soft and fluffy. He stands in front of the mirror. He looks at his reflection. His hair is messy. We often call this bedhead. He turns on the faucet. The water gushes out. He adjusts the handle until the temperature is lukewarm. Lukewarm means it is neither hot nor cold. It is somewhere in the middle. He cups his hands and splashes water on his face. It feels refreshing. He reaches for a towel hanging on the rack and pats his face dry. Notice the verb pat. He does not rub his skin harshly. He pats it gently. Next, he picks up his toothbrush and squeezes a pea-sized amount of toothpaste onto the bristles. Bristles are the small, stiff hairs on a brush. He brushes his teeth in circular motions. While he does this, he looks at the other items on the shelf. He sees dental floss, mouthwash, a razor, and shaving cream. He challenges himself. Can I name all of these items in English? He asks himself. He points to the razor. Razor, he whispers. He points to the soap. Bar of soap, he whispers. This is active engagement. He is not just grooming, he is studying. After rinsing his mouth, he decides to shave. He applies the shaving cream, which foams up into a thick white lather. He carefully runs the razor down his cheek. He has to be careful not to nick himself. A nick is a very small cut. Once he is finished, he applies some aftershave lotion. It smells like sandalwood and citrus. Feeling clean and awake, Lucas heads to the kitchen. The kitchen is often the heart of the home, and it is also a goldmine for vocabulary. He walks across the linoleum floor. His stomach gives a little rumble. To rumble is to make a deep sound, showing that he is hungry. He decides to make scrambled eggs and toast. He opens the refrigerator door. The cool air wafts out. He scans the shelves. He sees a carton of milk, a block of cheddar cheese, a jar of pickles, and a carton of eggs. He takes out 2 eggs. He also grabs a small knob of butter. A knob of butter is a common phrase for a small, rough chunk of butter. He places a frying pan on the stove. He turns the dial to ignite the burner. A blue flame flickers to life. He drops the butter into the pan. As the pan heats up, the butter begins to melt and sizzle. Sizzle is one of those wonderful onomatopoeic words, meaning the word sounds like the noise it describes. While the butter melts, Lucas cracks the eggs into a bowl. He uses a whisk to beat them. To whisk means to stir very fast, to mix air into the eggs, making them fluffy. He pours the yellow mixture into the hot pan. Immediately, the eggs start to cook, turning from liquid to solid. He uses a wooden spatula to push the eggs around. He sprinkles a pinch of salt and a dash of pepper. A pinch is what you can hold between your thumb and finger. A dash is a quick, small movement of adding a liquid or powder. While the eggs are cooking, he puts 2 slices of bread into the toaster. He pushes the lever down. Inside the toaster, the coils glow red. A minute later, the toast pops up with a loud clank. Lucas takes the hot toast, being careful not to burn his fingertips, and places it on a plate. He spreads a layer of butter on the toast. He slides the eggs onto the plate next to the toast. He carries his breakfast to the small dining table by the window. He sits down and takes his first bite. The toast is crunchy, and the eggs are soft and creamy. Describing texture is excellent practice. Is your food crunchy, chewy, soft, hard, or slimy? Try to label the texture of your next meal. As he eats, Lucas turns on the radio on his phone. He tunes into a local news station. He doesn't understand every single word, and that is okay. He listens for the main ideas. He hears the words traffic jam, highway, and delay. He understands that there is a problem with the traffic this morning. He hears the weather reporter say, showers in the afternoon. He makes a mental note to bring his umbrella. This is practical listening. He is not analyzing grammar. He is listening for information that affects his day. He finishes his meal and takes his plate to the sink. He quickly washes it with a sponge and dish soap. He places it on the drying rack. Now, Lucas needs to get dressed for work. He goes to his wardrobe. A wardrobe is a tall piece of furniture where you hang clothes. In American English, this is usually a closet built into the wall. Lucas looks at his clothes. He needs to look professional but creative. He chooses a pair of beige chinos. Chinos are casual cotton trousers. He picks a light blue button-down shirt. He buttons it up, starting from the bottom and working his way to the top. He tucks his shirt into his trousers. He selects a brown leather belt and threads it through the loops on his pants. He sits on the edge of his bed to put on his socks and shoes. He ties his shoelaces in a tight bow. He walks to the hallway near the front door. He grabs his backpack. He checks his pockets, phone, wallet, keys. He also remembers the weather report and grabs a compact umbrella. He opens the front door and steps out into the hallway of his apartment building. He locks the door behind him. He hears the deadbolt click into place. He walks down the stairs, his hand sliding down the smooth wooden banister. A banister is the handrail on the side of a staircase. He pushes open the heavy main door of the building and steps out into the city. The air is crisp and cool. The city is fully awake now. The soundscape is busy. Lucas hears the distant wail of a siren, perhaps a police car or an ambulance. He hears the rumble of a large truck delivering goods to a nearby shop. He walks along the sidewalk. In the UK, this is called the pavement. He passes a coffee shop. The smell of roasted coffee beans is strong and inviting. He sees a barista behind the counter steaming milk. He passes a flower shop. Buckets of colorful flowers are displayed outside. He sees red roses, yellow sunflowers, and purple lilies. He tries to name the colors in his head: crimson, canary yellow, violet. Using more specific color names helps expand your vocabulary beyond just red or blue. Lucas heads towards the subway station. In London, they call it the Tube. In other places, it might be the Metro or the Underground. He walks down the steps into the station. The air here is warmer and smells slightly of electricity and dust. He approaches the turnstiles. Turnstiles are the gates that only let you pass after you pay. He taps his travel card on the yellow reader. It beeps, and the gates open. He joins the crowd of people on the escalator. The escalator is the moving staircase. There is an unspoken rule in many cities. Stand on the right, walk on the left. Lucas stands on the right and lets the escalator carry him down deep underground. He looks at the advertisements on the walls. One is for a new movie. Another is for a protein shake. He reads the slogans. Slogans are short, catchy phrases used in advertising. He reaches the platform. It is crowded with commuters. Commuters are people who travel to work every day. Lucas moves to a spot where there is a bit more space. He looks at the electronic board hanging from the ceiling. It says, "Next train, 2 minutes." He waits. He observes the people around him. There is a man in a gray suit reading a newspaper. There is a woman with bright pink hair listening to music on large headphones. There is a student holding a heavy stack of books. Lucas practices describing people's appearances. He has a beard. She is wearing glasses. They look tired. A sudden gust of wind rushes through the tunnel. This indicates the train is coming. 2 lights appear in the dark tunnel, getting brighter and brighter. The train roars into the station. The brakes screech loudly as it comes to a halt. The doors hiss open. "Mind the gap," a robotic voice announces. This is a famous phrase, warning passengers not to step in the space between the train and the platform. Lucas steps onto the train. It is packed. There are no empty seats, so he grabs a handrail. The doors close, and the train accelerates. Lucas has to balance himself as the train sways from side to side. Standing on the train is a great place to eavesdrop. As we mentioned in previous sessions, eavesdropping is listening to other people's conversations. It is a bit rude if you stare, but if you just listen while looking away, it is great practice. Near Lucas, 2 friends are chatting. One says, "I was totally exhausted after the gym yesterday." The other replies, "I bet. You really pushed yourself." Lucas notes the word exhausted. It means very, very tired. He also notes the phrase pushed yourself, which means to work very hard or go beyond your limits. Real conversations are full of these phrasal verbs and idioms. The train ride takes about 20 minutes. Lucas counts the stops. First stop, Central Station. Second stop, Market Street. Finally, he arrives at his destination, Library Square. He gets off the train and joins the flow of people moving towards the exit. He takes the stairs up to the street level. The sun is higher in the sky now. He walks 2 blocks to his office building. It is a modern building with a glass facade. Facade is a fancy word for the front of a building. He pushes through the revolving doors. Revolving doors are the glass doors that spin around in a circle. He walks to the elevator bank. He presses the up button. When the elevator arrives, he steps inside and presses the button for the 15th floor. The elevator rises smoothly. His ears pop slightly due to the change in air pressure. The doors open, and he walks into his office. It is an open-plan office, meaning there are no walls between the desks. It is bright and buzzing with activity. He sees his colleague Sophie at the coffee machine. Sophie is a friendly woman who sits next to him. "Good morning, Lucas," Sophie says with a bright smile. "Good morning, Sophie. How are you today?" Lucas asks. "I'm doing well, thanks. Just trying to wake up with some coffee. Did you beat the traffic?" "I took the subway, so I missed the traffic, but it was very crowded," Lucas replies. It always is at this hour, Sophie agrees. Oh, by the way, are you ready for the meeting at 10 o'clock? Lucas pauses. He had forgotten about the meeting. The meeting with the marketing team, he asks. Yes, that's the one. Don't worry. It's just a brainstorming session, Sophie reassures him. To brainstorm means to come up with as many ideas as possible in a short time, without judging them. It is a common business term. Lucas goes to his desk. He hangs his jacket on the back of his chair. He sits down and turns on his computer. He enters his password and waits for the system to load. While he waits, he organizes his desk. He puts his pens in the cup. He aligns his notebook. He checks his email. He has 10 unread messages. Reading emails is another form of input. It teaches you formal and informal writing styles. He sees an email from his boss with the subject line, Urgent, Project Update. The word urgent means it needs immediate attention. At 10 o'clock, Lucas grabs his notebook and pen and goes to the conference room. The conference room is a large room with a long oval table. There are 6 other people there. His boss, Mr. Henderson, sits at the head of the table. All right, everyone, let's get started, Mr. Henderson says. We need to come up with a new concept for the summer campaign. Lucas listens carefully. The colleagues start throwing out ideas. How about we focus on bright colors, one suggests. I think we should emphasize relaxation and travel, another says. Lucas wants to contribute. He waits for a pause in the conversation. He raises his hand slightly. I agree with the travel idea. Maybe we can use images of beaches and oceans, Lucas says. That's a good point, Lucas, Mr. Henderson nods. Let's explore that. Lucas feels a surge of pride. He spoke up in the meeting. He used the phrase, I agree with, which is a perfect way to join a discussion. The meeting lasts for an hour. By the time it is finished, Lucas feels a bit mentally drained. Listening to native speakers argue and discuss complex topics is hard work for the brain. It requires intense focus. He goes back to his desk and decides to take a short break to reset. He walks to the break room to get a glass of water. He looks out the window at the city skyline. The skyline is the shape of the buildings against the sky. He sees skyscrapers, cranes, and distant hills. It is now 1 o'clock, time for lunch. Lucas decides to go out today. He wants to try a new sandwich shop down the street. He invites Sophie to come along. Hey, Sophie, do you want to grab a bite to eat? He asks. Grab a bite is a casual idiom meaning to get some food. Sure, I'd love to, Sophie says. I'm starving. Starving is an exaggeration, meaning very hungry. They walk out of the office and into the bustling street. The sandwich shop is busy. There's a line of people waiting. Lucas grabs a menu to look at while they wait. The menu has many options: Turkey Club, Vegetarian Delight, Spicy Italian. He reads the descriptions: roasted turkey, cranberry sauce, lettuce, and mayo on sourdough bread. He learns the names of ingredients: cranberry, sourdough, mayo. When they reach the counter, the server asks, "What can I get for you guys?" Lucas speaks clearly. "I will have the Turkey Club, please, but can I have it without mayo?" "Sure thing. Chips or salad with that?" the server asks. "Salad, please," Lucas answers. "For here or to go?" "For here," Lucas says. This interaction is a classic script. "What can I get you? Chips or salad? For here or to go?" If you learn these standard phrases, ordering food becomes stress-free. They find a table in the corner. While they eat, Sophie asks Lucas about his hobbies. "So, Lucas, "What do you like to do on the weekends?" she asks. "I like hiking," Lucas says. "I love being in nature. What about you?" "I prefer staying indoors," Sophie laughs. "I love reading and watching movies. I watched a great documentary last night about the ocean." "Really? I love documentaries," Lucas says. They discover they have a shared interest. This is how friendships are built, by asking questions and finding common ground. Lucas notices that when he is interested in the topic, he forgets that he is speaking English. He just speaks. This is the state of flow. After lunch, they walk back to the office. The afternoon passes quickly. Lucas works on some designs on his computer. He uses software that has English commands: file, edit, save, crop, resize. These digital words are also part of his vocabulary. At 5 o'clock, people start packing up their bags. "Have a good evening, Lucas," Sophie calls out. "You too, Sophie. See you tomorrow," Lucas waves. Lucas leaves the building. The sun is beginning to set, casting long shadows on the ground. The rush hour is in full swing. The traffic is heavy, and the sidewalks are packed. Lucas decides to walk part of the way home to get some exercise. He walks through a park. The park is a green oasis in the concrete city. He sees people jogging. He sees a person walking a dog. The dog is a golden retriever, and it is chasing a tennis ball. Lucas narrates the action. The dog runs, the dog catches the ball, the dog wags its tail. Wagging is the movement a happy dog makes with its tail. He walks past a playground. Children are swinging on swings and sliding down slides. Their laughter fills the air. He sees a mother pushing a stroller. A stroller is the chair on wheels used for babies. Lucas takes a deep breath of fresh air. He smells freshly cut grass. He feels the wind on his face. He feels alive. On his way home, he remembers he needs to buy some milk. He stops at a small grocery store on the corner. He walks to the dairy aisle. He sees whole milk, skim milk, and almond milk. He chooses the semi-skimmed milk. He also decides to treat himself to a chocolate bar. He goes to the cashier. The cashier looks tired. "Hi, did you find everything okay?" the cashier asks robotically. "Yes, thank you," Lucas says. He pays with his credit card. He taps the machine. "Approved," the screen says. "Would you like a receipt?" "No thanks," Lucas says. He arrives back at his apartment. He unlocks the door and steps into the quiet hallway. He sighs with relief. He takes off his shoes and lines them up by the door. He hangs his jacket on the hook. He walks into the living room and collapses onto the sofa. To collapse here means to sit down heavily because he is tired. He stays there for a few minutes, just resting. Then he decides to be productive one last time. He takes out a small notebook from his bag. This is his vocabulary journal. He writes down 3 new words he heard today. He writes urgent, starving, and exhausted. He writes a sentence for each one. The email from my boss was urgent. I was starving at lunch. The man on the train was exhausted. Writing them down helps move the words from his short-term memory to his long-term memory. For dinner, Lucas doesn't want to cook a big meal. He decides to make a simple pasta dish. He boils water in a large pot. He adds the pasta shells. While the pasta boils, he heats up some tomato sauce in a saucepan. He grates some Parmesan cheese. Grating is the action of shredding cheese into small pieces using a metal tool called a grater. He mixes the pasta and sauce together. He sits at his table and eats quietly. He does not watch TV. He reflects on his day. He thinks about the meeting. He thinks about the lunch with Sophie. He realizes he spoke English for almost 10 hours today. That is a huge achievement. After dinner, he washes his bowl. He wipes down the kitchen counter. He turns off the lights in the kitchen and goes to the bedroom. He changes into his pajamas. He goes to the bathroom to brush his teeth again. He looks in the mirror one last time. Good job today, he whispers to his reflection. He goes back to his bedroom. He pulls down the blinds. He turns on a small bedside lamp. He picks up a book. It is a mystery novel. He reads a few pages. The story is exciting. He reads about a detective looking for clues. He encounters the word fingerprint. He imagines the detective dusting for fingerprints. Reading before bed is a great way to relax and learn passively. Finally, his eyes start to feel heavy. He puts the book down. He turns off the lamp. The room plunges into darkness. He gets under the warm duvet. He adjusts his pillow. He closes his eyes. He listens to the sounds of the city outside one last time. A distant car, a siren far away. They are the lullaby of the city. Lucas drifts off to sleep, ready to do it all again tomorrow. But the story does not end there. Life is not just about working Monday to Friday. Life is also about weekends, about chores, about socializing, and about taking care of your health. So, let's fast forward a few days. It is Saturday morning. The alarm clock is silent today because it is the weekend. Lucas wakes up naturally. Sunlight is streaming through the gaps in the blinds, creating striped patterns on the floor. He looks at his phone. It is 9:30. He has slept in. To sleep in means to sleep later than you usually do, which is one of the great joys of the weekend. He stretches his legs and feels well rested. During the week, he rushes, but today, the pace is slow. We call this a leisurely morning. Leisurely means without hurry, taking your time to enjoy things. Lucas gets out of bed and puts on his slippers. Slippers are soft, comfortable shoes worn only inside the house. He walks to the kitchen, but today he is not making a quick toast. He decides to make pancakes. He takes out a large mixing bowl. He measures flour, sugar, baking powder, and milk. He cracks an egg. He whisks the batter until it is smooth. Batter is the liquid mixture of ingredients before it is cooked. He heats a pan and adds a little oil. He pours the batter in. He waits for bubbles to appear on the surface of the pancake. This is the signal to flip it. He uses a spatula to flip the pancake over. It is golden brown. He stacks 3 pancakes on a plate and pours maple syrup over them. The syrup is sticky and sweet. While he eats his delicious breakfast, he makes a mental list of things he needs to do. We often call this a to-do list. On weekends, we often have to do chores. Chores are the routine tasks you must do to keep your house clean and organized. Lucas looks at his list. It says, laundry, vacuuming, and fix the chair. Let's start with the laundry. This is a household task that everyone does. But do you know the English words for every step? Lucas gathers his dirty clothes from the floor and puts them into a laundry basket. He carries the heavy basket to the laundry room. He sorts the clothes. He separates the whites from the colors. This is important so the colors do not bleed or transfer onto the white clothes. He opens the door of the washing machine. He puts the clothes inside. He opens a small drawer on the machine to add the detergent. Detergent is the soap used for washing clothes. It can be a liquid or a powder. He also adds some fabric softener. Fabric softener is a liquid that makes clothes feel soft and smell nice. He turns the dial to select the cycle. He chooses normal wash and cold water. He presses the start button. The machine begins to fill with water with a loud whooshing sound. While the washing machine is running, Lucas decides to clean the living room. He goes to the closet and takes out the vacuum cleaner. A vacuum cleaner is the machine that sucks up dust and dirt from the floor. He plugs the cord into the electrical outlet on the wall. He presses the power button with his foot. The machine roars to life. It is loud. He pushes the vacuum back and forth across the rug. He sees some crumbs under the coffee table and sucks them up. Next, he needs to dust. To dust means to wipe the fine gray powder off surfaces. He takes a cloth and some polishing spray. He wipes the TV stand, the bookshelves, and the windowsill. When he is finished, the room smells of lemon and looks fresh. Describing cleaning is a great way to practice prepositions. You clean under the table. You clean behind the sofa. You clean on top of the shelf. As you clean your own house this weekend, narrate where you are cleaning. I am wiping the dust off the lamp. I am scrubbing inside the sink. Next on his list is fix the chair. Lucas has a wooden chair in his kitchen that is a bit wobbly. Wobbly means it is not stable. It moves from side to side when you sit on it. He turns the chair over. He sees that one of the screws is loose. A screw is a small metal pin with a spiral thread used to hold things together. To fix this, he needs a screwdriver. A screwdriver is a tool used to turn screws. He opens his toolbox. A toolbox is a container where you keep tools like hammers, nails, and wrenches. He finds a screwdriver with a Phillips head. This means the tip looks like a cross or a plus sign. He inserts the tip into the head of the screw and turns it clockwise. Remember the rule, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. This is a rhyme English speakers use to remember that turning right, clockwise, tightens, and turning left, counterclockwise, loosens. He turns it until it is tight. He flips the chair back over and sits on it. It is solid. He feels a sense of accomplishment. After finishing his chores, Lucas looks at the time. It is already 1 o'clock in the afternoon. The washing machine beeps, signaling that the cycle is finished. He takes the wet clothes out. They are heavy and damp. He puts them into the dryer. He cleans the lint trap. Lint is the gray fluff that comes off clothes. Cleaning the lint trap is important for safety. He starts the dryer. Now, he is free for the rest of the afternoon. He has plans to meet a friend, Elena, at a coffee shop downtown. He takes a quick shower and changes into fresh clothes. He walks to the bus stop. The weekend bus schedule is different from the weekday schedule. The buses run less frequently. He has to wait for 15 minutes. While he waits, he sees a family with young children. The children are playing tag. Tag is a game where one person chases the others and tries to touch them. The children are laughing and screaming with joy. Lucas smiles. He thinks about the word playful. The bus arrives, and he goes to the city center. He walks to the coffee shop called the Daily Grind. Grind refers to grinding coffee beans, but the daily grind is also an idiom for daily work or routine. It is a clever name. He pushes the door open, and a bell chimes. The shop is crowded and cozy. There is a low murmur of conversation. The air smells of roasted beans and cinnamon. He scans the room and sees Elena sitting at a small round table in the corner. She waves at him. "Hi, Lucas. Over here," she calls out. Lucas walks over and gives her a hug. "Hi, Elena. It's so good to see you. Sorry I'm a few minutes late." The bus was slow. No problem at all, Elena says. I just got here myself. Have you ordered yet? Not yet, Lucas says. I'll go get something. Do you want anything else? I'm good with my tea, thanks, she replies. Lucas goes to the counter. He looks at the menu board on the wall. There are so many options. Espresso, Americano, latte, cappuccino, mocha. He decides to order a latte. Hi, can I have a medium vanilla latte, please? He asks the barista. Sure. What kind of milk would you like? The barista asks. We have whole, skim, soy, almond, and oat milk. Oat milk, please, Lucas says. This is a very common interaction now. Knowing different milk types is useful. And can I get a blueberry muffin as well? Lucas adds. He sees the pastries in the glass display case. They look delicious. Certainly. That will be $8.50, the barista says. Lucas pays and waits at the pickup counter. He hears his name called. Latte for Lucas. He grabs his hot cup and his muffin on a plate and goes back to the table. He sits down across from Elena. So, catch me up, he says. To catch up means to share the news about what has happened in your life since you last met. Well, Elena begins, I started a new yoga class this week. It is incredibly difficult, but I love it. My muscles are so sore today. Sore means painful because of exercise. That sounds great, Lucas says. I have been trying to walk more. I walked part of the way home from work yesterday. That is a good start, Elena encourages him. We should go for a hike sometime. There is a great trail just outside the city. I would love that, Lucas says. Maybe next weekend? Making plans is a key social skill. You use phrases like, how about? Are you free? And let's meet at. They talk for hours. They talk about movies, their families, and their travel plans. Lucas listens to Elena's pronunciation. She speaks clearly and uses interesting adjectives. She describes a movie as gripping, which means very exciting. She describes her boss as demanding, which means he expects a lot of work. Lucas makes mental notes of these words. He is learning while he is socializing. This is the beauty of immersion. You are having fun, but your brain is still recording new language patterns. Eventually, they notice it is getting dark outside. Wow, look at the time, Elena says. Time flies when you are having fun. This is a very common idiom. It really does, Lucas agrees. We should do this again soon. They leave the coffee shop and say goodbye. Text me when you get home so I know you are safe, Elena says. This is a common phrase friends use to show they care. I will, Lucas promises. On Sunday morning, Lucas wakes up with a slight headache. His head is throbbing. To throb means to beat with pain in a rhythm. He touches his forehead. He feels a little bit warm. He thinks he might be getting a cold. He needs to go to the pharmacy. A pharmacy, or drugstore, is where you buy medicine. He gets dressed and walks 2 blocks to the local pharmacy. He walks through the automatic doors. The pharmacy is bright and clean with white aisles. He looks for the aisle that says pain relief. He sees many boxes. Tylenol, Advil, aspirin. He reads the boxes. Fast-acting, long-lasting, for headaches and muscle pain. He picks a box of ibuprofen. He also needs some cough drops because his throat feels a little scratchy. A scratchy throat feels dry and rough. He finds a bag of lemon and honey cough drops. He decides to ask the pharmacist a question just to practice. The pharmacist is the professional in the white coat behind the high counter. "Excuse me," Lucas says politely. I have a bit of a headache. Is this medicine okay to take on an empty stomach? The pharmacist looks at the box. It is better to take ibuprofen with food, she advises. It can upset your stomach if you don't eat something first. Thank you very much, Lucas says. You're welcome. Feel better soon, she says. This interaction teaches us medical vocabulary. Upset stomach, empty stomach, pain relief. These are vital words for survival in a new country. If you are ever sick, you need to be able to describe your symptoms. I have a fever. I feel dizzy. I have a rash. Lucas buys the medicine and a bottle of water. He takes the pill with a small sandwich he buys on the way home. Within an hour, his headache fades away. To fade away means to slowly disappear. He feels much better. Since it is a beautiful Sunday afternoon, he decides to follow Elena's advice and go for a nature walk. He does not go out of the city, but to a large botanical garden nearby. He enters the garden gates. It is like stepping into a different world. The noise of the traffic disappears, replaced by the sound of rustling leaves and chirping birds. To rustle is the soft sound dry leaves make when they move. Lucas walks along a winding path. A winding path is not straight. It curves left and right. He sees a pond. There are ducks swimming in the water. He sees a large willow tree with branches hanging down into the water. He describes the scene to himself. The water is calm. The reflection of the tree is in the water. The air smells of damp earth. He sits on a bench to rest. He watches a squirrel. The squirrel is running up a tree trunk. It stops and looks at him with twitching nose. Lucas laughs. He feels peaceful. Nature vocabulary is often poetic. We use words like bloom, breeze, canopy, and landscape. Being in nature allows you to slow down your thoughts and really focus on describing the physical world. As the sun begins to set on Sunday evening, the weekend draws to a close. This time of the week is sometimes called the Sunday Scaries or the Sunday Blues, describing that slight feeling of anxiety about the work week starting again. But Lucas has a routine to handle this. He focuses on preparation. Preparation calms anxiety. He goes to the grocery store one last time for meal prepping. Meal prepping is cooking food in advance for the week. He buys chicken breasts, brown rice, and broccoli. He goes home and cooks everything. He puts the food into 5 plastic containers. Now, he has lunch ready for every workday. He doesn't have to worry about cooking when he is tired after work. He feels organized. Next, he irons his shirts. He sets up the ironing board. It is a long, narrow table covered in fabric. He plugs in the iron. He fills it with water so it can create steam. He waits for the light to turn green, indicating it is hot. He runs the hot iron over the wrinkled fabric. The steam hisses. The wrinkles disappear, leaving the shirt smooth and crisp. He hangs the shirts in his wardrobe. Finally, he packs his bag for Monday morning. He puts his laptop, his charger, and his notebook inside. He checks his calendar on his phone to see what meetings he has tomorrow. He sees he has a presentation at 2 p.m. He feels a little nervous, but he tells himself, I am prepared. He ends his Sunday evening with a video call to his parents back home. This is a very emotional and important part of the expat experience, living far away from family. He opens his laptop and calls them. His mother's face appears on the screen. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad, Lucas says happily. Hello, darling. How are you? His mother asks. I'm good. I had a busy weekend, Lucas says. He tells them about the laundry, the coffee with Elena, and the walk in the garden. We miss you, his dad says. I miss you too, Lucas replies, "But I am happy here. I am learning so much." They talk for an hour. Speaking your native language is comforting. But Lucas realizes that even when he speaks his native language, he is thinking about how he would say it in English. His brain is changing. He is becoming bilingual. He closes his laptop. The apartment is quiet. He makes a cup of herbal tea. Chamomile tea is good for sleeping. He sits by the window one last time. The city lights are twinkling like stars. He reflects on the classroom of life concept. He realizes that every person he met this weekend was a teacher. The barista taught him about milk options. The pharmacist taught him about dosage. Elena taught him idioms. The squirrel taught him about nature. He didn't have to pay tuition. He just had to be present. He finishes his tea and goes to bed. He sets his alarm for 7 a.m. Monday is coming, but Lucas is ready. He pulls the duvet up, closes his eyes, and drifts into a deep sleep. And that brings us to the end of Lucas's week. We have followed him through a full cycle: work, rest, chores, and social life. We have covered hundreds of words related to the home, the city, the office, and the body. Now, I want to turn the microphone back to you. I want to talk about how you can apply the classroom of life to your specific situation. Maybe you don't live in an English-speaking city like Lucas. Maybe you live in a place where no one speaks English. You might ask, "Alex, how can my life be a classroom if there is no English around me?" This is a great question. If you are in a non-English environment, you have to build the classroom. You have to label your life. Here is a challenge. Go to your kitchen. Take some sticky notes or pieces of paper. Write the English names of objects on them. Stick a note that says fridge on your refrigerator. Stick a note that says cupboard on your cupboard. Stick a note that says kettle on your kettle. Leave them there for 1 week. Every time you reach for the handle of the fridge, you will see the word. Your brain will connect the physical object with the English word automatically. This is called environmental print, and it is incredibly effective. Another technique for non-English environments is shadowing. When you are listening to this story or watching a movie, try to repeat exactly what the speaker says. At the same time, they are saying it. Mimic my speed. Mimic my pauses. Mimic my emotion. If I sound happy, you sound happy. If I sound serious, you sound serious. This helps your mouth muscles get used to the shapes of English sounds. You can do this while you are washing dishes or driving. You might look a little funny to other people, but who cares? You are learning. Let's talk about the internal monologue. This is the voice inside your head. Usually, it speaks your native language. I want you to try to switch that voice to English for just 5 minutes a day. When you are looking for your keys, think, "Where are my keys? Are they on the table? No. Are they in my pocket? Yes." Simple sentences. By doing this, you are training your brain to access English vocabulary faster. You are reducing the translation time, the time it takes to translate from your language to English. Eventually, there will be no translation time. You will just think in English. I also want to touch on the topic of mistakes. In a traditional classroom, mistakes are marked with a red pen. They are seen as bad. In the classroom of life, mistakes are just data. If you say something and someone looks confused, that is data. It tells you to try a different word or a different pronunciation next time. Do not be ashamed of your mistakes. Wear them like badges of honor. They show that you are brave enough to try. Lucas made mistakes. He probably ordered the wrong coffee once or twice. He probably got on the wrong bus. But he survived, and he learned. You will too. Think about the variety of English you hear. In our story, Lucas spoke to a barista, a pharmacist, a friend, and a boss. Each person speaks differently. Some speak fast, some slow. Some use slang, some use formal words. To prepare for this, you need to diversify your listening. Do not just listen to one teacher. Listen to news from the UK, podcasts from Australia, movies from America. English is a global language, and being able to understand different accents is a key part of fluency. Now, let's review some of the key vocabulary themes we covered in this session. First, household chores. Laundry, detergent, vacuum, dust, fix, screwdriver, meal prep, iron. These are the words of daily maintenance. If you can describe your cleaning routine in English, you have mastered a huge part of daily life. Second, socializing. Catch up, make plans, grab a coffee, treat yourself, time flies. These are the words of connection. Third, health. Headache, throbbing, pharmacy, prescription, sore, symptoms. These are the words of self-care. Fourth, nature. Rustle, breeze, trail, winding path, bloom. These are the words of the environment. I want you to pick one of these categories. For the next 24 hours, focus on that category. If you choose household chores, say the English words every time you clean something. If you choose health, check in with your body every hour and describe how you feel in English. I am thirsty. My back hurts. I feel energetic. We are nearing the end of this long session. I hope you feel immersed. I hope you feel like you had spent the week with Lucas. But more importantly, I hope you feel empowered. You possess the most powerful learning tool in the world, your own curiosity. Before I go, I have a specific request for the comments section. I want you to tell me, what is one chore you have to do today? Write it in English. I have to wash the car. I have to water the plants. I have to pay bills. Let's fill the comments with our daily to-do lists. Seeing other people's lists will teach you even more vocabulary. And finally, if you have listened to this entire script, you are a champion. Listening to English for this long requires stamina and focus. You should be very proud of yourself. Do not forget to like this video if you found value in it, and share it with your study partners. I am Alex, and this is English in Fluency. Remember, the world is speaking to you. You just have to listen. Your life is your classroom. Your days are your lessons, and you are the best student for the job. Keep practicing, stay curious, and I will see you in the next lesson. Goodbye for now, and have a wonderful English-filled week.